So today we're going to learn how to make fermented salsa. And I want to just say that right off the bat, this is not my recipe. This is the recipe from Sally Fallon from Nourishing Traditions. So if you want to learn how to make this, you can actually do it on your own. The recipe's in here. Wouldn't be surprised if this almost opened right up to it. It didn't. So anyway, it's in this book. So Sally gets all the credit, and it's an awesome recipe. It's one of my favorite salsa recipes because it's good with everything. I can mix it on in salads. I can just eat it by itself, mix it in with avocados, put it on fish. Whatever you want to do, just eat it by the spoonful. It's really a great salsa. And what's nice about this fermented salsa is that it's fermented. And so something that is fermented means it's going to be more healthy for your gut. It's got a lot of lacto-fermentation, so that way you're going to be building good probiotics, and you don't have to worry about it going bad. It can stay in your refrigerator for months and months and months. So reason I'm doing this is because I'm running out. You can see my last jar. Mark put it away. Here it is. My last jar of salsa, so it's time to make more. Now this salsa I made last July, and so yeah, and so I mean when I opened it up, it bubbled, you know, and it was really fermented, but it tastes awesome, so it'll keep for quite a while. So I need some more, and I know you guys are gonna like it.
How much are we actually measuring?
I don't measure anything.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, 2 onions, 4 or 5 tomatoes, as many jalapenos as you want, and the whole bunch of cilantro.
The whole bunch?
The whole bunch.
No.
You're going to chop that up, it's probably be good in that thing too. Don't forget your garlic. And that's another one. 6 to 8 cloves of garlic, or more if you want, or less. That's totally entirely up to you. So this becomes your creation.
Stems off the cilantro?
I cut off some of the stems, use mostly the leaves. Okay, now to do the tomatoes, I'm going to fill the sink up with some cold water. And then I'm going to simply plunge these tomatoes that have been washed into boiling water for about 30 seconds or so, 15. If you see the skin start to split, then they're pretty well done. And then once I've done that, I'm going to plunge them back into the cold water so that'll stop them from cooking, because I don't want to cook the tomatoes, I just want to peel them. So, pretty simple process. Okay, so now the skins are starting to soften, so I'm just going to take them and throw them in the cold water. See, the skins are already coming off already. Nice and easy. And we're going to seed these tomatoes, but again, these are plum tomatoes, so they're probably not going to be very seedy. See how the skin just peels right off, so how easy is that? Take that skin off. So now I'm just gonna kind of pull the little stem out of here, and just to seed a tomato is pretty simple. You pretty much just cut it in half, and then see the little seeds in there. I'm just gonna kind of squeeze it, and there they go. Just take them right out. So simply seeded. You have these little pockets, you can scoop them right out. So you cut it horizontally, cut it or through the equator, and then yeah. You have to be strong to make salsa, so you have to come to the kettlebell. So here, cut it in half. There's the seeds. Give it a little squeeze. That's simple to seed a tomato. Okay, so here's my tomatoes all seeded, peeled, ready to make salsa. Chopped. Chopped. Hands are good. So I might be a little sissy, but I wear gloves when I do jalapeno peppers, because I've forgotten that I've done peppers and then rub my eye or something like that. Even after you wash your hands about 10,000 times, the oil is still on there and it can still burn your eyes. So I wear gloves. These are just regular latex gloves. But, you know, that's entirely up to you. If you like the adventure of having hot hands and touching things that burn after you touch them, that's cool. they're really hard to get on when your hands are wet. There we go. Mission accomplished. Ready for surgery. Alright, so I'm not used to using a small knife, but we're doing good. So I'm just gonna basically cut off the end. Now, I'm not a professional cook. I don't even play one on TV, so everything I do is learning as I go. And so if any of you guys have a better way of doing something, or if you're a real chef and say, what are you doing that for? But I use the gloves so that I can get the seeds out. And you can scoop them out with a spoon, but I don't have one right here with me, so I'm just going to pull them out. Now, if you want a little bit of hot into your salsa, then you can leave some seeds in there. A little bit of seeds will give it a nice kick, so that's entirely up to you. Different types of peppers are going to obviously give you different types of hot. This is a nice middle-of-the-road jalapeno pepper. Some of the peppers that I've used are the poblanos, which are a little bit milder. And then I think my favorite one is to use the serrano peppers, because they have a little bit more kick to them. I've never done this with habaneros or ghost peppers or anything crazy like that. I like to eat my food and enjoy it and not have to recover from eating hot peppers. So, but jalapenos are good, just kind of a general hot pepper. Well, guacamole is one of those very healthy fats for you. So you can just take this salsa and mix it in with some mashed avocado and you got instant guacamole. I like that. I like instant anything. So, and then that's where you know, my tuna recipe, I just sort of figured, since I'm a sushi fan, and oftentimes when you go and have sushi, they'll take fish and they'll wrap it in the roll with a little avocado and the rice and whatever vegetable and things. And so that's where I got the brilliant idea of, I had tuna fish and I had avocado. I didn't have any mayonnaise because I would always make tuna salad with mayonnaise. And so my brilliance, I figured, well, avocados are made like guacamole, so that's kind of mushy like mayonnaise. And so I just made the mushed avocado, added the tuna, and then I threw in the salsa. And that was really a cool find. Something I did. It'll be in my book, my recipe that I'll have in my book. And then I took the whole tuna salad and put it in a pepper. You know, so that was a nice, easy lunch to make. But I digress. Things you can do with salsa is to make tuna salad. Who'd have thought? So now I'm peeling garlic, and the recipe here calls for 10 or 20,000 bulbs of garlic. No, just kidding. Which would be fine with me, but of course nobody would like me the next day. But so 6 to 8 is probably good. And if you want less, you know, again, this recipe is entirely up to your taste. If you want seeds, if you don't want seeds, if you want a lot of garlic or not, it's entirely up to you. Or even the ratios. If you'd rather have more tomatoes or more onions, then that's fine too. So this is just a great start. Jim's looking good there. There's 3. Now, a quick way to peel garlic, if you're really pushed for time. Let's see this. Here's my little garlic bulb. Here is the flat side of the knife. Just put it right on top there and give it a little bit of a crunch, and the skin just comes right off. So that makes a nice time saver there. So now we're going to put in some cilantro, and this recipe calls for a whole bunch. Now, if you don't care for cilantro, you don't have to use cilantro. You can put something else in there. If you like it a little bit, then use less. So adjust it according to your taste. But I'll tell you what, the first time I made this, I had never really had cilantro like this. And I made 3 quarts of salsa, and you let it set out on the counter for 2 days so that it will ferment. And by the time that 3rd day came along, there was only 2 jars left because it was so yummy. You know, so again, you can adjust this to your taste. So I'm just simply going to chop this up. I'm pulling the stems off. You can put the stems in if you want to, but yeah, I'm just going to stick to the leaves and then just simply chop them up. If you got your slap chop, you can chop them in, or you can put them in your little gadget, or just chop them up by hand. It's totally up to you. These are going to shrivel up in the fermenting process anyway, kind of like spinach does. So I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of whey. This is whey that I got from yogurt today. I just dripped it out, let the water drip out of the yogurt. And so now I'm we've got plenty of whey to use. The whey is going to help facilitate the fermenting process of the fermented salsa. So all those nice probiotics that are in here are going to break all of this down and make this nice and healthy. So yeah, I think that was 3 or 4, but there we go. So there's the whey. Salt. What was that, a tablespoon? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, we didn't put any in mine.
Let me look. Ah. See,
No salt in mine.
yeah.
Oh,
A
well, we
tablespoon of salt.
read the rest?
Yeah, you're supposed to read the recipe before you start cooking.
Salt is part of the fermenting process also.
So they're not gonna ferment, you're telling me?
So it may not be as fermented as you'd like. Yeah, so I was thinking it didn't taste as salty, but, so there's a tablespoon of salt.
You can always mix it.
So anytime you do any type of fermenting, you want to have some salt in there. Because that's a big part of Preserving it. And the oregano is just a teaspoon. Again, you can adjust it to your taste. So far, I've been pretty happy with how the recipe is. So there's a teaspoon of oregano. And then I just have to put in my lemon. Now I found, if you don't know this, you can take a lemon, you want to get the juice to release out of it, just give it a couple of rolls. And that'll make that juice release a whole lot easier. Okay, so we've had a lot of fun putting this salsa together. So now I have all of my ingredients here, and the more I mix it, the more juice starts to be released because of the salt. So that's going to help the fermentation process. And so I'm simply going to put this into the jar. Okay, let me do with this. There we go. Now you want to pack it down really well. It's a cool little tool that I have. And this fits perfectly into the wide mouth jar. And then if you're putting it into a small mouth jar, then you can use the other end. So what I like to do is just kind of tamp it down a little bit so that I get all of the veggies underneath. You see it's kind of full, so I'm just going to give it a little, press it down. This is also awesome for sauerkraut and like that, being able to mash all your veggies. You know, so just give it a little touch. So now you can see everything is underneath the water. You want the water level to be on top of the veggies. So if there's not enough liquid in here, then you can actually add a little bit of water. So that way your veggies will stay in the fermented brine and the top of it won't get moldy. Alright, so that's one jar. I don't have very much left, so the recipe was pretty accurate. And what I'll do is I want to clean this off. You want to leave room in the jar because it will start to ferment and bubble over. So as I leave this on the counter, I'm going to put it inside a bowl of some sort. Otherwise it may just leak out of the cover while it's fermenting. So from here, I've dried off this rim. Just going to put the cover on loosely because it still needs to be able to breathe a little bit. So I'm not even really going to tighten that. And then I'm going to let it sit on the counter for about 2 days. Sometimes I've done it for 3 days. Like it's evening now, so I probably won't put this into the refrigerator until Friday morning. Okay, so you can taste it as you go along. Like I said, sometimes it doesn't all make it into the refrigerator because it tastes so good. So I hope you got a little something out of this. You enjoyed our little cooking frenzy here, and thanks for watching. And we'll be back another time with another teaching video for you.